we have to start establishing this is our place. From here on out, hey, this is what we play for. We're better safe than them. Let's go. Come on, go get it now. Let's go.
Welcome to the Dan Majerle Show. Barry Buetel alongside the head coach of your Lopes, Dan Majerle. This special holiday Christmas edition. Are you feeling pretty good? You feeling pretty festive? About the holiday spirit? No? You're not?
You learn as a basketball player and a basketball coach there really is no holidays. You got to kind of play through them. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. We just got to keep grinding and getting better, and it's been fun so far. It's been interesting, but I enjoy it.
Well, talk about our first gift. It wasn't really a nice gift, but it felt pretty good, albeit a loss. But Louisville comes to town, and you come out with a 79-70 loss. You had to feel really good.
Yeah, you know, moral victories aren't big on my list, but that was a moral victory. To have that type of crowd there, to play a top 15 team like Louisville, and to be winning at halftime, to play as well as we did in front of that crowd, I think it was huge. So it was another step in the right direction for our guys. Thought we played really hard, played well. Dwayne obviously had a huge game. So after the end of the night, 79-70, I'll take it.
Yeah, you mentioned Dwayne Russell, but I mean, 103 years of Division I basketball for Louisville, and that was the second highest output by an individual against them. 42 points, played in all 40 minutes.
Yeah, you know, that was just an amazing an accomplishment for him to play 40 minutes, to be a point guard, to be 5'11", to go against a team of Louisville stature defensively, and to be able to do that and not really wear down and do it all game was quite impressive. I haven't seen anything like that in my 35 years of basketball, so I was proud of him to be able to step up on a big stage and perform like that.
They really did. Patino tried to throw everybody at him. Levitch, McMahon, they couldn't seem to guard him. Snyder did okay. They put the 7-footer Stockman on him. He couldn't stop him. Yeah,
that's the thing about Dwayne. He's worked really hard. He's been able to improve on his three-point shot, so if you play off him, he can hit that. Bigger guys, he goes around now, pull-up jumper, got to the free throw line a lot. So it was just a complete game for him, and no matter what they did, he hit some shots that, like I said, were unbelievable floaters, all those things. So it was quite a performance.
And then you follow that up with a visit by San Diego State. Steve Fisher comes in. Here's a team that I'm sure looked for a little bit of retribution, payback after you knocked them off in their building last year, but you come out with a W.
Yeah, another really good team that plays extremely hard, plays great defense, and as you mentioned, we beat them last year, so we knew they were going to come in and want to beat us. So I thought, again, another good performance. Was up at halftime, weathered the storm. They came out in the second half and really got after us a little bit, and defensively we were good down the stretch and found a way to get a win in front of another great crowd. So this last week has been pretty good for GCU basketball.
Well, Dwayne chipped in for 21 points, had a pretty good evening, but the freshmen, Freire and Fifi, really stepped up, 34 points in the game.
Yeah, and we're going to need somebody like that to step up. Dwayne's not going to have 42 every night. It's just not possible. He's going to wear down, and guys are really going to key on him. So we need guys to step up, and Oscar and Fifi have done it. You know, Oscar's a guy that's been pretty good all year long. Hasn't been real consistent in his shot, but plays with no fear. And he found a way to start getting hot at the three-point line. I think he made 5 that game. And Fifi, who has been kind of lost offensively, been really good defensively, stepped up and had a huge game for us. So those two freshmen were a big reason we won that game.
Yeah, he had 3 of 5 from the arc as well, and had 15 points of his own. So kind of quietly stepped up there. And do you think because of all the injuries and the additional playing time that these guys have kind of gained some confidence with the additional minutes? Kerwin Smith also played over 30 minutes.
Kerwin played great in that San Diego State game, and we kind of forget about him, but he stepped up and, you know, he wasn't playing at all, and he played 32 minutes, had a big first half, rebounding, scoring the basketball, and that was big key for us. But yeah, Oscar and Fifi are going to have to step up. They're going to get thrown into the fire. You know, Oscar, I'm not worried about. You know, he went into Duke with no fear whatsoever. So the more playing time they get in pressure situations, they'll learn quicker, and hopefully that'll be better for everybody in the long run.
Well, some people might say, well, it could be a potential trap game. You guys got Arizona coming up. You're coming off an emotional high, Louisville and San Diego State. You got UIC coming in. They took you down to the wire there. It was a nail-biter until the end.
Yeah, you know, they're a lot better than they were last year. They got, or 2 years ago, they got a really young team, very athletic. We knew about that. But they did a good job. They played hard. We got it out and got in some spurts and got the lead, and they fired right back. And it's always going to be. I think every game we play this year is going to be a grind. We're going to have to play hard for 40 minutes. And I was proud of our guys. Anytime Dwayne goes 5 for 21 or whatever it is, you still win the game. It means you did some other good things. And I thought, again, some guys stepped up. I thought Oscar played really well. Keontae had 15 and 15.
Right.
So, Dwayne goes 5 for 21 and we still win. I'll take it.
Keontae Vernon, you mentioned the 15 and 15, the double-double. Here's a guy that's staying out of, knock on wood, staying out of foul trouble and staying in the game.
Yeah, he's really matured that way. He's recognized what he has to do to stay on the floor. Hasn't picked up a whole lot of cheap ones. And that's just a maturation problem. So I'm proud of him to do that because he's going to be a big part of our team, and he's been pretty good this year.
I know that Josh Braun had the scope. It seemed like everything, at least from a surgery standpoint, went well, and he's on course to hopefully be ready to go in early January.
Well, we hope. Matt Jackson had his surgery. Josh had his surgery. So Josh is a warrior. He's going to be out there as soon as he can, and we'll just see how his knee reacts. I mean, that's his 4th surgery on that knee. So hopefully he'll be back for the WAC play. It'll be much needed. He's a guy that obviously is the player of the year preseason. So hopefully we'll get him back. If not, we're just going to have to find a way to keep winning.
Are you feeling pretty good with the players that you do have on the court and how they've performed for you?
Yeah, I love our guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I love them. They work hard. We have a long way to go, but they get after it. And we're kind of shorthanded, but guys have stepped up, so that's good. So, I'm happy with our guys. Obviously, I think the SIUE game was a bad one to lose. That's a game if we had back, we'd probably be right where we wanted to be or even a little bit better. So. Standing here at 5 and 4, you can't complain.
No doubt about it. We will continue with the Dan Majerle Show after we take a timeout. Oscar Freire will join us here up next. Welcome back to the Dan Majerle Show. Barry Buetel alongside the Fab freshman. That's right, Oscar Freire. You got to feel pretty good. You played in every game. You're looking sharp. You're looking poised. You go to Duke. It didn't overwhelm you. Are you just kind of a even-keeled kind of guy? I mean,
all my life I've played on big stages, so
yeah.
It's been nothing new so far.
You've had eyeballs on you at a young age, right?
No doubt.
How was that experience, and how did those before, in your youth, prepare you for the college level?
Playing with NBA players like Stanley Johnson, it kind of prepared you because he got a lot of cameras on him, so you see the things you want to follow in his footsteps. So you just kind of just go with it.
Expand a little bit. You worked out with Stanley? Or?
Oh no, I played with Stanley for my freshman year of high school basketball for the Oakland Soldiers AAU basketball program.
Okay. So he's kind of helped pave the way, told you what was ahead, and you were been in kind of that environment for a long time.
No doubt, just following his work ethic and just the things that he does, is watching him from a distance. He's a great player, and I just want to follow in his footsteps.
It seems, when you watch and what Coach Majerle talks about with your demeanor, that you seem like you're kind of like a sponge.
Okay.
You want to learn, you want to really improve and be the best that you can be. Is that pretty much sums things up for you?
No doubt. Coach Majerle was a great player. He played in the NBA season for 14 years, so anything he has to say, I definitely want to take knowledge of it.
When you decided to come to GCU, was that a huge factor? I know Jerry Colangelo is obviously a big part of the basketball program here, but what were some of those key factors that propelled you to come to GCU in a transitional phase to D1?
It's Monroe all over again. My previous high school, is all over again. I love the students here. The environment is just Monroe all over again. That's exactly what I was looking for.
They go crazy like the Havocs?
Yes, sir.
What is that environment as you stepped into that and you played the likes of Louisville here and even against San Diego State? You had to be charged up in front of that crowd.
No doubt, it was crazy. It was a crazy environment. I loved every second of it. Our guys, we appreciate it, and we just want to keep it going.
Well, you pretty much had a highlight the other night with the putback dunk.
Yes, sir.
That's just got to feel really good. You get the response that you get and the play that you really stepped up to with Dwayne, and you and Fifi stepped up for 34 points in the game combined. It's nice to see some of the youngsters like yourself to step up and put some points on the board.
Yes, sir. Me and Fifi, we've been having a mentality we're going to go hard every day at practice, and it just translated over to the game, and no better.
Talk a little bit about Damari Milstead. He's a guy from Morrow Catholic. He's signed to join you here.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, tell the fans a little bit of a preview of what's to come with Damari.
Yes, sir. He was my point guard for 3 years. He's a very exciting player. He knows how to score. He plays defense. He's going to have a very good time here at Grand Canyon University.
When you look ahead, what were the experiences like when you went to Duke, and now you're going to be traveling down this week? You went down to Tucson to take on the Wildcats. What do those experiences What do you take from them after playing some of the best in college basketball?
You just want to play. You want to be able to compete with them, and you want to build on it. Every game, we just want to build. We want to get better every game. Playing those teams is a big opportunity for our guys, and we know that. So we just want to keep on getting better.
What would you tell other players out there, other high school players that might be at your elite level, that may be considering GCU? What would be some of the factors that would contribute to having them, sign on and be a part of what's happening here at GCU?
Take a visit. You take a visit, you won't leave. I promise. I promise.
Take a visit while maybe during a San Diego State game or a Louisville game or just about any game?
Any game. Take a visit. You won't leave.
That's amazing. It's a fantastic environment here. Injuries have been a factor. You've had to step up, but what's it been like for the team with Josh Braun going down with an injury, Matt Jackson goes down with an injury? Guys seem to be dropping, but you guys have rallied behind it. What's been the rallying cry?
Those guys, they're big for us. I mean, most of them starters. So, I mean, Coach Majerle always said the next guy up, and we just fought. We fight every day at practice, and we just hope it translates over to the game.
Have the guys told you a little bit about, I know the mission has always been to win the WAC. Do you feel like you're really coming together before the start of conference play?
No doubt. We just got to get healthy again. We stay off our legs and just fight. Coach Majerle is all about fighting and competing. As long as we compete at a high level, he has no problem with it.
What has it been from playing at Monroe Catholic to get to this level? Is it from a standpoint of fatigue or energy? Do you sense it's the same, or I'm sure the tempo and intensity has been ratcheted up. Do you still have a lot of gas in the tank?
Yes, sir. We run. We do suicides. We do.
Yeah, I see that.
We run a lot. So I mean, the tempo is definitely up, but we're all right. We're all right.
Well, you're off to a great start. Continued success this season, and good luck when conference play starts. And Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well.
All right, Oscar Freire, our guest. Stay with us. More of the Dan Majerle Show continues after we take this time out. Welcome back to the Dan Majerle Show. Barry Buetel now joined by the track coach here at Grand Canyon University, Tom Flood. And Tom, when you talk about a program here, the 21 teams, and one that is off to a great success early on, indoor and outdoor WAC championships, it's the men's and women's track teams here. I mean, what can you attribute to? Obviously, you've got some great student athletes, but I'm sure you have a great staff as well. But you've got to be really pleased with how things are going.
Yeah, we couldn't have had a much better year on the conference level, winning both the men and women's, both indoor and outdoor. We kind of swept all the titles there. So fantastic student athletes, very talented, and a great coaching staff. Had a great inter squad this last weekend, and looking forward to defending our championships come February.
From a recruiting standpoint, how are you able to recruit some of the top student athletes for track here?
Well, with the NCAA transition, it's been a little more difficult. We're not able to participate again at the national championship. So I'm trying to do it, win our local talent, do it as most local kids as we can. Been very successful there, and got a nice international flavor with some very talented international kids in too.
The indoor championships, the outdoor championships, I know the women have been there, the men were just came a tick under in second place. Now they both win the championship, something that now they've set the bar pretty high that they have to continue this tradition.
Yeah, they're both looking forward to defend. That was tough. Our first year in the WAC, our men lost by one stinking point, and we won by 40-something points. They left no doubt this last year. So both the men and women, they're looking to defend, and they've got very good opportunities to do that. If we can stay healthy and hungry, we should be pretty happy with the results come February.
On the women's side, in the discus, Tara Sue Barnett, of course, representing Jamaica at the Rio Olympics. That had to be an awesome experience for her.
What an awesome talent, and just what a beautiful tribute to her and her success to be able to go represent Jamaica at the Rio Games. She's not resting on her laurels. She's working even harder right now, and we'll probably redshirt her outdoor this year, so she'll have that one opportunity 2018 season when we're eligible to go to the NCAA championship and look to maybe be an individual national champion with her.
I'm sure it's got to help too to have student athletes that represent their native countries at the Olympic Games. And much like Jade Howard for Steve Schaefer on the swim for Zambia, to have somebody like Barnett representing GCU?
Oh, absolutely. That draws a lot of attention to us and brings a lot of athletes interested in our program, because obviously Tara Sue's getting it done. But even like a Marcus Flanagan or an Aaron Thurber last year are able to compete at the USA Championships are big pluses for us too.
Can you talk a little bit about your coaching staff and how important they are to each individual assignment that they are in charge with?
Well, track's such a unique sport, so it's been different disciplines in them all. I've got a very good staff. Sarah Slattery is a 5-time NCAA champion herself, heading up our distance and cross-country programs. Chris Riggs was an athlete of mine at Colorado State, so a lot of history with Chris. He's a great young talent. I've got one of the best pole vault coaches in the world with Todd Lehman, and a very fine young throws coach in Joe Riccio. I'm very blessed to have him and full-time now on our staff, and doing a lot of great things without a throws facility, even on campus. So,
can you talk a little bit about upcoming trips? When you begin the indoor season in January coming up, you'll be heading off to Washington. You'll also be heading up to Air Force Academy as well. Some of that early competition.
Yeah, we'll start at NAU. We start right off the bat with some best talent in the nation, and NAU won the men's cross country title this year. So U of A and ASU are as good as they get. The UW invite's going to be really nice for us. It's the first time we've actually gone to Washington. Beautiful oversized track up there at sea level for our distance kids, and the Air Force Academy. Just what a beautiful campus. We know the coaching staff very well, and that'll be a unique challenge really for the guys, because all 4 teams in that meet won their respective conference titles.
You mentioned international recruiting, and we've talked to Steve Schaefer from the swim team. A lot of it is done on tape. It seems like it's a smaller and smaller world now due to recruiting. How have you been able to attract from the international stage some of your student athletes?
Took a chance on a Jamaican athlete the first year, and she performed unbelievably. Kind of opened the floodgates, as you say, to a lot of great international Jamaicans that we've had in there. But we've got Pierre Ricou, who's one of the top decathletes, a French athlete. Yeah, it's easy for track. Times and measurements and distances, they don't lie. We do see a lot of tape, but GCU is an easy sell once they kind of see the campus.
I would imagine having a school located in Phoenix, probably a nice draw too.
Doesn't
for some
hurt
of that.
at all with our weather and the 6th largest city in America. We've got all those special amenities.
Well, Tom, continued success, and congratulations to you and your staff.
I sure appreciate it, Barry. Thank you.
All right, Tom Flood, the head coach of the men's and women's track teams here at Grand Canyon University. Stick around. More of the Dan Majerle Show continues after we take this time out. Welcome back to the Dan Majerle Show. Krystal Thomas had a chance meeting with the head coach of the women's basketball team here at GCU, Trent May, that led the former standout at Duke and in the WNBA to secure a full-time position as an assistant coach on May's staff.
Being drafted was one of the best feelings I've ever had. I was actually really caught off guard. I wasn't sure exactly where I was going to fall during the draft, even if I was going to be drafted at all. So I actually was working out during the draft. I actually missed when my name was put up there, and I came back in the weight room. They're like, you got drafted. I was like, oh, I got drafted. So it was really exciting, really special just to know that you've been drafted to one of the best women's league in the world, to be in the WNBA, to be part of this amazing group of female athletes is remarkable. There's 12 teams, 12 players, so to be one of 144 people to have been doing this for now 5 seasons is incredible. And so I'm thankful every single day for what I get to do, and I'm just really honored to be able to play against the best players in the world, the best women in the world, and compete against them every day. I ended up at GCU basically through divine intervention. I was injured at the time, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. Was I going to be healthy enough to go back and play, or was I going to have to try to figure out something else? So in the meantime, I was doing a lot of public speaking. And so I was invited to come out here to speak at Impact Church. And Trent and Angie May, they came to listen to me speak. Angie was my chaplain when I played out here for the Mercury. And so they just happened to come and hear me speak, and we went out to eat, and they joked like, hey, if you ever want to get into coaching, you can come out here. And I was like, no, absolutely not. My focus was, can I get my leg healthy enough to get back and play? Well, my rehab just wasn't going the way that I wanted it to, and Trent ended up calling me on the phone and asked me, hey, do you want to come out here and coach? And, I knew when he called me, it was definitely the Lord calling me to go to come out here and coach, and that's how I ended up here at GCU.
When Krystal Thomas answered that call, she joined a staff with distinct specialties that blend together to create a competitive team.
We do have different skill sets, but I think that's what makes us really unique as a staff, is that we can tap into so many different areas because each person brings something new to the table. We're not all the same, which is a good thing, but the biggest part about all of us is we're all focused on the same thing. We're all focused on coming together, gelling together, and focused on winning and bringing the first Black championship to GCU. So it's not in a competitive way, it's a competitive way in competing against other opponents.
That competition brought Thomas back to an old haunt this season, Cameron Indoor Stadium, where she played for the Duke Blue Devils and Coach McCauley.
Just another special feeling to be back in Cameron. As soon as I walked back in, just the lights and the court, it just, there was a flood of memories that came back. It was just crazy to think of how many games I played out there, how many games I've won. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears poured out onto that court as well from the time that I was back at Duke. So it was a pretty crazy feeling to be back, and especially to be coaching. You know, when I left, I never really thought I'd go back. So to be able to compete against my coach was really special, and it's something that I'll be able to carry with me for a long time. What I learned from this past season is just how special the moment is. Whatever the moment may be, just enjoy the moment that you're in. You know, when I was playing beforehand, you get so caught up kind of in just the rat race of what you're doing, trying to make this team, make that team, earn this contract, make that contract. This time it was just enjoy the season, enjoy every day. Even if it was a 3-hour practice and I was exhausted, you know, it was like, I loved being out there. I loved being able to just be out there around the people that I was around, doing what I was doing. So it's really made me appreciate enjoying the moment, and I've been able to carry that back here to GCU and just pouring that into the girls. You know, sometimes you can get so far-sighted and looking at the big picture that you forget to just enjoy what's right in front of you.
Krystal Thomas and the rest of Trent May's staff doing a wonderful job. The team off to a great start this season. In fact, they'll be back at GCU Arena this Monday, 12 noon tip-off against Northern Arizona University. Hope to see you there. Stay with us. More of the Dan Majerle Show continues after we take this time out. Coming up this week, the Lopes will host 3 non-conference games at the GCU Arena, beginning with the Alcorn State Braves on Tuesday, December 20th. Then it's a quick turnaround as the Lopes will welcome the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions on Thursday, December 22nd for one last game before the Christmas holiday. The homestand concludes on Wednesday, December 28th with a visit from the Big West Conference leaders, Cal Poly Mustangs. You can catch all the games at 6:30 right here on CW6. Welcome back to the Dan Majerle Show. Barry Buetel alongside the head coach Dan Majerle. Well, we are wrapping things up on this holiday edition of the Dan Majerle Show, and we'll get full recaps of the games on GCULopes.com, but trips to Tucson to battle the Wildcats, who come in at this taping time 20th ranked in the nation at 8-2, and then back home on Saturday evening. You'll see that right before this show as Mississippi Valley State comes into town. So you got some upcoming games coming up. I'm sure the trip down to Tucson will be another tall test.
Yeah, that'll be a great test for our guys. Obviously, Arizona's been good. It's got a great program. They've been bitten with the injury bug a lot like we have, but they're still really good. Number 20th in the country, as you said. Great environment down there, and it's going to be a really good experience for our guys like we've had at Duke and Kentucky and Louisville and all those things. So we're looking forward to it. We want to play as many good teams as we can. You know, Sean Miller, the coach there, did us a favor by playing us when a lot of Pac-12 teams wouldn't. So I appreciate that, but it'll be a good test for our guys. They're a really, really good team in a tough environment. So we'll just have to go down there and compete and see what happens.
Well, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
All right, there's the head coach. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Dan Majerle Show.